Hello, class. Dwayne West Jr. here again. This is the final week, week 8, to intro to public speaking. This week is pretty much our outro speech to the class, and we're supposed to pretty much give a persuasive speech or a topic of our choosing, and pretty much debating that topic and explaining to our class why we chose that particular topic. Um, the particular topic that I pretty much choose to discuss is the rising of police brutality within America. Before I go any further, I just want to say I don't have anything negative to say about the police force, or nor will I be taking sides on the civilian side versus the law enforcement side. I just pretty much want to go over some statistics and some of the ways that I feel that both civilians and the law enforcement can do to make the world a better place. Four of my credible sources, sites that I will be pulling my information from is the first one is New York Times with the title of Police Killings Rise Slightly, though increased focus may suggest otherwise. My second source was whowhatandwhy.org. The title is Crimes Down, so why is police aggression increasing? My third credible source is debate.org with the title of Is Police Brutality on the Rise? And my fourth credible resource is journalistresource.org, Excessive or Reasonable Force by Police, Research on Law Enforcement and Racial Conflict. Again, I'm not taking any sides. I'm not speaking negative on a civilian or police fact. But before I go into the statistics, I just want to personally say that I do thank law enforcement everywhere. Me being in the military, I know it takes a toll on police officers out there to do their job, and they're thinking they're having to make split decisions based on the situations on what's going on. I do commend all police officers. I do thank every law enforcement officer for their service. However, switching back on the police brutality side, pretty much I know there is a sour or a bad apple in every bunch. And some of the things that I think should be put in place to help resolve conflict easier, or to bring down the tension between civilians and law enforcement, is that at each situation that calls for a weapon to be drawn, I do feel that instead of actually having to pull out a weapon, I believe that you could police officers could probably use tasers and ballistic rounds, which pretty much ballistic rounds are rounds that do feel and hit as a real bullet, but they do not penetrate the skin. But you still get the same effect that you would get as if you were to be using a real round. That's just my personal opinion, and I do believe that more situations could be resolved in that manner, as far as using the taser or using the ballistic rounds, because I'm pretty sure that every situation doesn't call for a weapon to be unholstered and to be used. I know just recently, like 2 weeks ago, there was a killing in Chicago, Illinois, where a guy called the police on his mentally ill son. Once the police showed up to pretty much defuse the situation, an elderly woman answered the door. Therefore, police mistakenly killed the elderly woman, and also killing the mentally ill guy. He was having an episode. I'm not sure exactly what the episode was. He was having a mental breakdown. His father wanted to call the police over to help calm down, and instead of, like I said, using those other different tactics or ways to defuse the situation, it went straight to people being killed by the use of guns. Now going into my first credible source, the NewYorkTimes.com is official data exists suggests that the number of killings by police officers has crept upward only slowly, if at all, in recent years. Since 2009, one regular in If in complete measure, the FBI's account of justifiable homicides by police officers ranged from 397 to 426 deaths annually before jumping to 461 in 2013, the latest reporting year. Federal experts have long acknowledged that estimate is too low, and a handful of more recent unofficial reports, online database compiled and fact-checked by volunteers, place the toll much higher at about 1,100 deaths a year or 3 a day. Yet they do not suggest that the pace of police killings or the racial composition of victims as a group has changed significantly in the last 2 years or so. A number of criminologists believe police homicides are near in the nadir. In New York City, for example, 91 people were fatally shot by police officers in 1971, and a record low 8 in 2013. The last year for which figures are available. In Los Angeles, officers used categorical force, gunfire, chokings, and other violence that could lead to death. In 84 of nearly 149,000 arrests in 2010, down 17% in 7 years. That data suggests that any perception that higher numbers of unarmed African Americans are being killed by the police in recent months is driven by citizens posting of unsettling cell phone videos and pictures like that of police officers dragging Freddie Gray, his legs apparently not working, into a van. People are shocked by all of these shootings, said Peter Moss, a former Baltimore police officer who's an assistant professor at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice at City University of New York. But they've always been there. But it also means that lethal force by the police is a steady problem that is causing police departments across the country to debate whether they need to change procedures and or training. What the media doesn't understand is that growing up in this society is poverty, it's police brutality, it's rat-infested houses, it's your friends dying. It was a civilian, Mr. Williams stated. For most officers, firing a gun is among the rarest events in their careers, but training in the law enforcement culture conditions officers to regard themselves as perpetually threatened. And while many officers on high crime patrols learn to sense and respond to danger, experts say less experienced officers may see their training as a license to use force, not a restriction. For years, the FBI reports on justifiable police homicides and other federal estimates of police homicides have understood the problem. Only recently have online database compiled volunteers begun to produce more accurate picture. 2 of the more prominent ones, fatal encounters and killed by the police, each logged about 1,100 police-related homicides in 2014. Their total are higher when police-related deaths, such as fatalities and high-speed car chases or suicides and standoffs, are included. Because the records of killings are drawn mostly from news media reports, some crucial details, including the race of officers and suspects, often are missing. And also, I want to say on the civilian side, some ways to defuse the situation and pretty much to comply with the law enforcement rules or what's going on is pretty much just do what the officer is telling you to do, regardless of if you're in the right or in the wrong. The reason why I say that because at the end of the day, that law enforcement officer has the badge and has the authority to enforce the law. And I just feel like pretty much you'll be diffusing the situation if you were just to listen to an officer, do as you're told, go where they need you to go, be where they need you to be, and pretty much everything else will pretty much fall into place. And I know recently there has been a lot of recordings of police encounters, and I also believe that is a good thing because, like I say, as far as the law enforcement side, there are a few bad apples in a bunch, and most of them abuse their authority. Therefore, without that proof, without those recordings by civilians or by innocent bystanders or by the body cameras of the police in general, I feel that a lot of cases would favor in the way of those corrupt police officers. Like I said, I'm not here to take a personal stand on either side. I just wanted to simply highlight the rise in the police brutality within America. Like I said, this is week 8, intro to public speaking. I had a wonderful time I enjoyed the class very much. I wish all of you success in the future. And to my instructor, I want to thank you for everything you have done for me, for all the constructive feedback that you have gave me. And I hope that we all can run across each other in the future. Thank you.